You think pirates failed to rule the world because they lacked organization or firepower, but the shocking truth is they came terrifyingly close to global domination, until they made one catastrophic mistake that destroyed their empire in a single day. At their peak, pirates controlled more territory than the British Empire, commanded fleets larger than most navies, and had established a shadow government that even European kings negotiated with in secret. What stopped them wasn't military defeat or lack of resources. It was an act of betrayal so devastating that it turned the most powerful pirate confederation in history into scattered, hunted criminals within 48 hours. By the end of this video, you'll discover the one pirate decision that could have changed the course of world history, and why the man who made that choice spent his final years desperately trying to undo what he had done. Pirates were evolving into statesmen, understanding the balance between force and diplomacy. Their story is of unity born from ambition and a choice that altered history. The pirate empire didn't fall to outside force. It dissolved quietly, eroded by internal conflicts. We see how close they came to changing the world. Their near triumph was undone by a quiet unraveling from within. The sea keeps their secret when the balance of power hung in the hands of pirates. This is the story of the pirates who nearly ruled the world. At their height, pirates commanded a kingdom without a king, a sprawling, decentralized empire built on audacity and the spoils of the sea. Their territories were scattered across the globe, a web of hidden ports and strategic strongholds. From the Caribbean, the heart of their power, to the distant shores of Madagascar, they held sway over vital trade routes. They built fortified towns like Nassau, transforming them into true pirate republics. These weren't just havens for outlaws, they were self-governing entities with their own laws, economies, and social structures, challenging the established order. The Jolly Roger was not just a symbol of rebellion or a call to plunder, but a bold declaration of sovereign power, a flag flown in defiance of kings and empires. It represented a rejection of the old world order. Their fleets, carefully curated from the best ships captured or commissioned, were unmatched in speed, maneuverability, and the sheer audacity of their captains. Pirates navigated by the stars and instinct, reading the sea like a map, understanding its currents and secrets in ways that eluded even the most seasoned naval officers. Even European navies, the most powerful maritime forces in the world, treated them with a grudging respect, often hesitant to engage in direct confrontation. Beyond brute force and intimidation, pirates operated a sophisticated shadow government, the Brethren of the Coast. This loose confederation of captains, quartermasters, and influential figures shared vital intelligence, coordinated complex strategies, and even mediated disputes between rival factions. Their communication network, built on trust and mutual self-interest, rivaled those of established kingdoms, giving them a significant strategic edge in the constant game of maritime dominance. Pirates even engaged in clandestine secret diplomacy, negotiating with kings and governors for pardons, lucrative trade agreements, and even military alliances against common enemies. Monarchs, desperate to gain an advantage over their rivals, sometimes used pirates as deniable assets, employing them to harass enemy shipping or disrupt trade routes without leaving any trace back to the crown. For a brief but glorious time, pirates were not just outlaws lurking in the shadows. They were a powerful, independent faction operating openly on the world stage, commanding respect and fear in equal measure. They played the great game of empires with cunning and ruthlessness, and for a fleeting moment in history, it seemed as though they were poised to win. The world watched in awe and trepidation as pirates transformed from mere thieves and brigands into a formidable force to be reckoned with, a shadow empire ruling the waves. The golden age of piracy was golden because of unity. Outcasts found strength in numbers, forging bonds that defied norms. Real pirates thrived on collaboration, understanding that shared effort meant shared success. Strength lay in collective action. Captains coordinated attacks and shared spoils according to a democratic code, a stark contrast to the autocratic rule of navies. This ensured a fairer distribution of wealth and power. This pirate code was more than just rules. It was their constitution, It was a living document, ensuring fairness and providing a voice for every crewman. Even captains were elected, a radical idea. Their authority rested on the consent of the governed. Pirate ships were floating republics bound by loyalty and the promise of shared success. This unity allowed them to disrupt trade routes and exert control over shipping lanes, challenging the established order. Their accumulated wealth was reinvested in strengthening their position, acquiring more ships, and expanding their influence through alliances. As their power grew, so did their vision. They began to dream of something more permanent, a recognized nation, a sanctuary for the free. The Brethren of the Coast dreamed of forging a new society, built on equality and freedom, a society beyond empires, where individuals could chart their own course. For a moment, this dream seemed possible. The world held its breath, watching with fear and fascination, waiting to see if these pirates would succeed. Their unity was their greatest strength, and their hope for establishing a new order. But such dreams are fragile, and history would soon test their resolve. The stage was set for either triumph or tragedy. To realize their ambition, pirates formed a secret council, a floating parliament. Influential captains met in hidden coves, plotting the future of their confederation. These were strategic, disciplined gatherings, not drunken revels. They debated law, trade, and foreign policy, acting as the government of a nation without borders. Captain James Corrigan, a respected leader, presided over these councils. Corrigan saw the need for consolidation and legitimacy. Under his guidance, they drafted a charter blending pirate democracy with statecraft. Their plan included governance, law, and a central treasury, a blueprint for a new society. This secret parliament was the heart of the pirate dream. Here, the idea of a pirate empire was forged, poised to become reality. But the tides of fate would soon turn. The pirate empire's downfall came not with cannon fire, but with a signature. The navies of Europe could not defeat them by force. Pirates were too skilled and dispersed. Their undoing was internal. A single act of diplomacy shattered their unity. A betrayal, quiet and profound, sent shockwaves through the Confederation. The trust that bound them dissolved in a moment. The dream of a pirate nation was surrendered, not defeated. Their collective identity, once their greatest strength, became their weakness. News of the betrayal spread in whispers, not roars. There was no final battle, only suspicion and disillusionment. The Grand Alliance fractured, fleets dispersed, and strongholds abandoned. The dream vanished like mist on the water. It was an ending marked by sadness, not glory. The age of the pirate empire was over before it truly began. The instrument of their undoing was the proclamation of reconciliation. The British Crown offered pardons, land, and titles to any pirate who surrendered. To outsiders, it seemed merciful. To pirate leaders, it was a declaration of war by other means. The proclamation was a wedge, exploiting fears and desires for peace. Pirates faced a choice: loyalty to the Brethren or personal safety. The Confederation collapsed almost overnight. Crews deserted, quartermasters lost authority, and trust evaporated. Ships slipped away to claim pardons. Strongholds like Nassau emptied. Pirate republics became ghost towns, overtaken without a fight. The Shadow Empire was dismantled by a promise, not a cannon. The pirates' greatest strength, their independence, became their undoing. The world of the pirates faded in silence. Their empire ended with a whisper, not a roar. The man behind the proclamation was not an enemy, but their own leader, Captain James Corrigan. Corrigan negotiated the pardon, believing it would save his people from destruction. He saw it as a strategic retreat, not surrender. Corrigan was a veteran, wise to the growing power of European navies. He feared endless conflict would doom the pirates. His decision was born of concern, not treachery. He presented the pardon as a victory, proof the world recognized their power. Some captains agreed, weary of danger. Others saw it as the end of their dream. Corrigan, once the unifier, became the instrument of division. The council split, and the Confederation unraveled. Corrigan's choice was a turning point, one that ended the dream of a pirate nation. He saved lives, but at the cost of their soul. The pirates' legacy was sealed, remembered as rebels, not rulers. The architect of unity became the author of their fall. Corrigan's decision shattered the pirate confederation instantly. Unity and defiance vanished. Pirates became rivals for pardons. The world exhaled. The pirate threat was over. Corrigan accepted his own pardon, living as a colonial gentleman, but regret haunted him. He had saved his people from war, but destroyed their spirit. In old age, Corrigan wondered if surrender was worse than defeat. He tried to rekindle the old unity, but it was too late. The pirates were scattered, the dream dead. Corrigan's story is a reminder. History can turn on a single quiet moment. A good man's choice led his people to peaceful oblivion. Pirates would be remembered as outlaws, not as the rulers they nearly became. The dream faded, leaving only echoes on the tide. Sometimes the greatest changes come not with a bang, but with a whisper. The great pirate empire never came to be, it remains a ghost on the tides of history. Their failure was not for lack of strength, but a single choice that broke their unity. When we look at the sea, we can imagine a world ruled by free sailors, not distant kings. The pirate code, democracy, equality, shared fortune, almost shaped a new civilization. The ships are gone, the captains silent, their names lost to the waves. Corrigan's quiet decision changed everything. History is shaped not just by battles, but by quiet choices and fragile trust. The pirates who nearly ruled the world have vanished into the mist. Their empire dissolved, leaving only a story of a dream that was almost real. And the ocean, as always, keeps its secrets, rocking gently to the rhythm of the world.